Hello, my name is Hak Yo, and I'm so glad that Elizabeth, an Australian, has joined in this our first um, Zoom meeting. So, welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, the first intro I want to make is that the reason I started off this little Telegram group is because I foresee um, Facebook will eventually be giving us a lot of trouble. And I have a Facebook page called Esoteric Fifth Dimension. And therefore, I quickly make a Telegram group just in case we face a lot of issues with Facebook and Messenger and so on. The idea I have is that we are now about 26 members in this group, and they are spread all across the world. And we will be like boots in the ground so that any events that occur in any part of our region, we can at least give some first-hand knowledge. And because we can't really depend on mainstream news. So as an intro, I do energy healing, and the energy modality that I use is called blue energy healing. Many people have not heard about it. It's because it's very few of us are actually active in this energy healing. My master, for example, is very uh, so-called, he wants to be invisible. He doesn't want attention to be brought to him. And I'm more active than him. And anyway, I've done a lot of blue healing for people and got some very good results and different levels of healing. And I also practice feng shui whenever the case fits into feng shui. And then I also have been trained in Reiki. But right now, I'm using about 99.5% of the time the blue energy. So Elizabeth, over to you. Give us a short intro, what you do.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm an Australian living in Malaysia. And at the moment, I'm a full-time sound therapist. So I'm using the modality of sound mainly for healing, particularly focusing on trauma and people with emotional issues, depression, anxiety, sleep problems. I also work with special needs children, particularly autistic children, respond really well to sound therapy. But I've been practicing various modalities for over 30 years. So I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I've learned a whole range of different things, which I bring into my work when needed. But predominantly, I'm using sound as a modality these days.
Interesting, yeah. Elizabeth, because I was actually exploring some kind of sound healing and did a little bit of reading up just to improve my knowledge on other modalities. And it fascinates me as well. And then, so what are your other hobbies, Elizabeth?
Oh, hobbies. Like, I do belly dance as well.
Oh.
And actually, I teach belly dance, but I'm focusing on just for womb health these days, rather than just as a dance modality. Could probably call it a hobby. And a musician, you know, that's actually why I was so drawn to sound as a modality, because I was always loved playing music. And so, like, healing and music brought together, it seemed like the perfect fit for me.
Well, yeah. It might interest you to know, Elizabeth, that I'm at the moment working with Dr. Burnett from the US, and she is actually, I don't like to use the word incarnation, but there's no other way to describe her status. So she's actually Mary Magdalene. Yeah. And she's also using music infused with plasma, which to my knowledge, I don't think anybody has done it before. And her music is actually transforming civilizations from another AI civilization, artificial civilization. The reason is we are on this project, and the way that I was involved with Mary Magdalene is that she found that I was the only person who can calibrate a composition in terms of frequencies and how high and the vibration. So many of the compositions she would send to me, and I would calibrate it, and I would advise her which one has a very, very high vibration, and they go into, would you believe it, millions positive vibration. And two of her composition was infinity, and she was overwhelmed. And the ones at infinity, because I stopped counting, I counted to billions, I counted to trillions, and I stopped.
Right.
So anything above a trillion in frequency, positive frequency, I would just label it as infinity.
Right.
Right. So those three compositions she had infused plasma. She has already learned the technique of infusing plasma into it, and they vibrate so very high. Now, she is trying to convince the AI colony because the artificial intelligence is posing a threat to our part of the universe. Because planet Earth, Mother Earth is ascending, and they see it as a threat to their existence.
Mm.
So they're going to hold it in, actually, they're going to hold this concert in Telepacetes, that is another galaxy, this month. And if she succeeds to convince this AI colony or civilization to stop trying to really attack our planet, then it would be the very best news. So I haven't had any further news because I'm not sure when the concert will be held. And that concert will be performed by many light beings. And of course, she will be there in her essence, Mary Magdalene, and also somebody else. They're all light beings, all right? So they would perform her composition of music, and they make a breakthrough because they had two previous concerts, and at least the artificial intelligence AI entities had listened to it and are more interested to find out more, but they want to be assured that the music that Mary composed will not destroy them. Yeah. And so I'm just awaiting for further news from Dr. Burnett, also known as Mary Magdalene. And we are in constant contact. And so I'm just waiting for good news from their coming concert. So that would be interesting to you, I suppose.
Yes, yes.
So
I would love
music,
to send, yeah, I would love to send you some of my recordings and you could
calibrate.
gauge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will. I will. In my work of calibration, just to give you an example, um, some of the music that I calibrated to be in positive frequency and healing and have good effects are actually most of the classical music, but they only go up to about a frequency of so far about 200.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's a
Mhm.
baseline that we can gauge. All right. And then I also discovered that many of the YouTube videos, which says that, oh, it's got good frequencies, it's got healing energies and so on, be careful about that, because when I
Mm.
did a random calibration, I found that they actually were negative.
Ah,
Yeah. So there's a lot of things
okay.
out there. There's a lot of things out there so subtle that people do not realize.
Right.
And other calibration work that I do is like any kind of work, whether it's a book or an article on the internet or a video on the internet. Actually, before I view it, I would tune in
Hmm.
and calibrate it. And if it is like an article, if it is more than 75% positive energy, I will continue reading it. If it is less than 75%, I just don't have the time for it.
Right. Yeah. Mm.
So having this calibration, in fact, Mary Magdalene was very amazed because nobody had done it for her composition, which is out of this world. And she kept asking me how did I do it.
Right.
I have no answer actually. I just discovered that I had that ability, but I also only recently know that it was because of my Hathor connection.
Right. I feel very connected. I feel the Hathors work with me too.
Oh wow, good.
Yeah.
That's why you're in the music.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know Tom Kenyon or of Tom Kenyon?
Yeah. Yeah, he also sort of write or talk about the Hathors, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He channels the Hathors through his voice.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I don't remember, but I did calibrate his work, and honestly, maybe the initial ones were really positive, but
Mm.
the subsequent ones have changed.
Okay.
The subsequent ones have changed, and so is
Interesting.
actually people like David Icke and Corey Good and this one other public figure,
Wilcock.
David Wilcock.
David Wilcock?
David Wilcock. In fact, David Icke and David Wilcock originally they were actually very very positive. But did you know that they were compromised? They were taken over by the cabal.
No.
Yeah. So their work now is not that not vibrating at more than 75% according to my calibration.
I see.
Yeah. So you see, the cabal or the Illuminati infiltrates every organization.
Right.
So well, so far in our group, they haven't. I check,
Right.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, so interesting. And can you just talk about one of your favorite or well-known cases that you use sound healing in your work? Can you talk a little bit offhand?
Well, one of the biggest changes I saw in someone was a lady in the UK who had fibromyalgia. And so she was in a huge amount of pain. She was actually a psychic healer, but she was in a lot of pain. She had had a traumatic childhood, which she'd done lots of counseling and, you know, tried to heal from that. And she'd had, you know, bad marriages and things. But when I met her, she was in constant pain, always tired. So I was using a technique called biofield tuning, which is using tuning forks to comb through the electromagnetic field, the biofield around the body, which it turns out can contain traumas. It contains like distortions of energy in little pockets where the traumas are that we've dissociated from our body when we've been traumatized. So I stayed with her for 2 weeks. And so I did a lot of biofield tuning on her. And then one day she said, normally she would be exhausted every night at 9 o'clock and have to sleep for many, many hours. And it was 9 o'clock and she said, oh, well, it's bedtime now. And then she said, I'm not tired. I want to stay up and talk some more. And then we went walking in the park. She has dogs and we took them for a walk. And she said, I'm not limping. She said, I've had this bad hip for 19 years. I fell off a horse. She said, I've stopped limping. Oh. And then she said, my body pain has gone. And we found so much trauma in her field with this tuning fork technique, which we cleared. And she said, I've never found any modality that's been able to reduce her pain like the biofield tuning did. So that was a very dramatic improvement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about trauma, yes, I've seen a lot of traumas resulting in all these physical ailments. And some of these traumas can be from previous lives, Elizabeth.
Yes.
I had one case of trauma. This lady lives in Penang, and she's actually a dental surgeon, and she had all these backache problems. And as you know, they would have consulted the medical profession, the chiropractor, you know, and so on and so forth. And none of these managed to help her in the severe backaches that she suffers. So one day I did a healing session for her, but I found out that basically it was a past life trauma. And the story was that in a previous life, she was a man and living in India. And he was one of the people who work in the Hindu temple. And on one ceremony, this man, there were 4 of them who carries, you know, the statue of the deity. And they slipped and fell down. So that's where he hurt his back. But more than that, at that point in time, he felt that it was his mistake to slip and cause everybody to fall down. So that trauma remained there until in this life. So, so I do what we call in blue, or many modalities also call it timeline healing, or went back to her past life and cleared the trauma. And well, she was never happier because the backache was gone.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So we keep learning, and then we keep having challenges to help people, and yeah, energy work is a lot, and I can see it working. And basically, it also amazes me sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I'm working on my master. The Blue Master has asked me to write a book on blue energy, and I'm in the midst of writing my final chapter. And I
Ah,
don't know when it will be out. Probably it's going to take some time, go to the editing, then go to the long process. So by the time it's out, as usual, like even in a lot of scientific text or medical text, by the time it's out, it's pretty much outdated.
ah,
But nevertheless, the things I wrote would is not time sensitive because there are concepts and case histories, that would benefit
mhm.
people. And but I'm trying very hard to give some input on the COVID thing, as I know it, into the book. And just one chapter. I don't want to write too much because it's pretty controversial, as you know.
Mm, wow.
Are you a vegetarian?
I'm not 100% vegetarian, but I'm like 95%.
Oh, that's
That
good enough.
because when I travel, I stay with people who are not vegetarians, and they I I don't want to put people out. But yeah, I'm becoming more. When I'm at home, I'm always vegetarian. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. As for
Mm.
me, I because of my lifestyle, it's not easy, and but I take every 2 days in a month the Chinese first day of the moon and the 15th day of the moon in the
Okay.
Chinese lunar calendar.
Right. Okay.
um, but I also found that, having said that, um, out of you see, I take about three kinds of dishes in my meals, and out of the three, two would be vegetarian style. So,
Right.
and I cut off things like pork and any other meat. Uh,
Hmm.
Even chicken I've cut out completely.
Right. Right.
I'm taking only fish, which is my
Yeah.
favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still have a little bit of fish every now and again. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we shouldn't make it religious in the sense that we got to be
Yeah.
flexible,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
flexible and in a middle way. It is always better than to be so rigid, because I
Yeah.
find the other people who are so obsessed, and that is not really good.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Mm. And do you do any meditation, Elizabeth?
I don't meditate as much as I should, but my work is very meditative. When I do my sound work, I go into an altered state, and so I'm fully being guided what sounds to do, how to do them, and I actually channel sounds through me. So it's a form of meditation, but actually just sitting down and meditate, I don't do it regularly. Yeah.
Same with me, because you know, I find that we don't. But if you are starting on meditation, you got to go through the process.
Uh,
But once you are already in it for a couple of years, I find that even a minute's silence is meditative, actually.
mm,
And,
yes.
and what the Taoist masters even talk about walking meditation. I mean, you can do meditation even
Yes.
you're walking.
Yes. Yes.
So, but if you're a novice, if you are just starting off, it's best to sort of be formal about it, set a
Yeah.
time, do the, get, get the process done. But once you are at a certain level, you can do all these other kinds of meditative states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when I want to tune in or to calibrate things, and I find that in an instant I would be able to be in that meditative state.
Right. Yes.
So what you're saying, or your reply to my question is very, very accurate, because I'm in the same boat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So we can wrap it up in another 5 minutes, Elizabeth. So do you have any
Yep.
kind of a message for our group?
Ooh, the message.
Any kind of message or
Uh,
advice, or
well, maybe I can just share what I've had to learn from this whole drama that's been happening is that I'm kind of got my feet in both worlds. I'm seeing what's physically playing out, the making people wear masks and the all this humiliation, brainwashing. And yet at the other side, I'm feeling so excited that this is a huge change that's about to happen or is happening. And it's like our old society could not continue as it was. You couldn't just turn it around gradually. It's like it had to fall in order for a new to rise up. And so I've got so much enthusiasm and excitement about the future, but it's easy to get drawn into every time I go shopping and I see all the rules and regulations, and it's like so it's like I'm stepping both ways, but I'm finding I can get myself more easily out of the drama and the physical world into this feeling of this wonderful unfolding. So that's probably all I can just share about
Well,
that.
that's very, very, very good, because I'm exactly in the same position as you are. Um, uh, you must know that my background is towards the medical side, and
Okay.
I have a deep understanding of all that thing. And I'm looking at it now so differently with the information that I get. And uh, it's 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 actually okay, in just a few sentences I will put it into perspective, because I can talk for hours. What I want to say is, this COVID thing is actually a biosynthetic organism, and it was released on purpose uh, to reduce the world population. It was designed to eradicate about 80% of world population, but it didn't happen because there were special forces, galactic forces, that tried to tone it down, and they were quite successful, not 100%, to the level that it is being experienced in many countries. So for that, we have to be very thankful for. And the cabal or the Illuminati is actually behind all these things. And
Yeah.
then uh, the issue on masks and hand washing and social distancing is actually, um, uh, if you look behind, the energy of that idea is control.
Yes.
All right, it's a form of control, and especially so, it's very, very detrimental to uh, kids in the kindergarten
Yes.
and the primary school, because then, kids are always mingling around and happy and jumping around, but now
Yeah.
they have been restrained, and this is a deep psychological trauma.
Absolutely.
So but what I'm getting is I have to update all the time because things change so fast. And predicting the future is a very difficult thing, and it's not set in stone, you know. So in my latest tuning in, I get that actually by November, December, things will just go off.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, that's very good news. Uh,
Mm,
as mysteriously as it appeared, COVID will as mysteriously also disappear. Right.
yeah,
So I'd like to thank you, Elizabeth, for this conversation, and I hope
yeah.
it would be useful for our group, as I will post it up in
Mhm.
YouTube first, and then they can next time our friends will be able to join us, you know, finding a
Mm,
more suitable time.
yeah, yeah.
Probably one of the meetings I would make it solely for the European people, and then one of the meetings solely for the Australians and New Zealanders.
Right, right. Yeah.
Then we can get, everybody have a chance to come in. And
Hmm.
oh yeah, the last thing I want is talking on meditation. It will just spend 2 minutes. I want to have a guided meditation. And this is to remind all of us that we are star seeds. So you may relax. We just do it for
Okay.
a short while.
Yep. Yep.
You may relax, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths first, relax your whole body. Now imagine that you see a ball of light, any color that you want, white, golden, or blue light in front of you. You just walk into this light. It's like a bubble surrounding you. You're now comfortable in this ball of light. The color of your choice could be blue, green, whatever. And in an instant, you feel that this ball of light is lifting off into the skies, goes through your roof, wherever you are, into the sky. You see your building, the surroundings of your area. They're getting smaller as you go higher and higher and higher. You're now in the universe. You can see other stars. You feel comfortable and happy and very happy. You are like one of the stars. And you remember you are also a star seed on planet Earth. And you are very much loved by Mother Earth Gaia. Just remain for a while in your light bubble, observing the universe, observing the cosmos, connecting with your star families. So now it's time to come back on planet Earth. You're descending slowly. You're coming closer, closer to Mother Earth. You're approaching your own city. You're below the clouds, and you arrive back at your own home, your physical home. You may slowly open your eyes, take deep breaths, relax. Thank you very much. This is just a very short meditation to remind us of our that we are star beings actually on planet Earth, and then we're doing what we can. We remember our missions, and we are exactly where we are supposed to be.
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks once again, Elizabeth, and good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye. So you've stopped recording?
Hang on. I'm a bit slow here. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, wait, I'll stop it.